Iran had one card left, one weapon that didn't require a navy, didn't require air superiority, didn't require anything except dark water and a small boat moving slowly through the night. Mines. Cheap, invisible, and capable of shutting down 20% of the world's oil supply without firing a single missile. Since March 1, 2026, the Strait of Hormuz had been effectively closed to commercial traffic, removing approximately 20 million barrels per day of crude oil from international markets. Brent crude surged past $100 a barrel and kept climbing, reaching $126 at its peak, the largest disruption to global energy supply since the 1970s oil crisis. Iran had just turned a military conflict into an economic weapon pointed at every country on Earth. And the response Washington brought to the table was about to rewrite the entire rulebook. Before we get to the bombers, before we get to a weapon making its combat debut for the first time in history, you need to understand why Iran's mine strategy hit so hard, and why it caught the US in the worst possible position. Before the strikes began on February 28th, Iran held between 6,000 and 8,000 mines in its inventory. The shallow depths of the Persian Gulf make mine warfare extraordinarily effective. Each mine costs a few $1,000s, but forces a response costing orders of magnitude more in mine-sweeping time, escort operations, and insurance premiums that price tankers out of the route entirely. Iran didn't need the mines to explode. It needed them to exist. Their presence alone was enough to stop traffic. Here's what made it worse. The Royal Navy had maintained a continuous mine countermeasures presence in the Gulf from 2003 until early 2026, then withdrew its last vessel months before the war began. The US Navy had also retired its last 4 dedicated minesweepers from the region just days before Operation Epic Fury started. The world's most important energy choke point had fewer mine-clearing assets at the start of this conflict than at any point since the 1980s. Iran knew it, and it mined accordingly. Reports confirmed that Iran had begun laying mines in the strait, while retaining more than 80% of its small boats and mine layers, meaning it could feasibly lay hundreds more. The math was simple. Iran could lay mines faster than anyone could clear them, and every tanker captain in the world understood exactly what that meant. Trump's response was immediate. He warned publicly that if mines had been placed, he wanted them removed, and that military consequences would follow at a level never seen before. America didn't wait for Iran to finish the job. U.S. Central Command confirmed that American forces sunk 16 Iranian mine layers near the strait before they could complete their mission. Not the mines themselves, the boats laying them. 16 vessels specifically identified and eliminated before they could seed the waterway further. It was the operational equivalent of destroying the gun rather than dodging the bullet. By mid-March, CENTCOM confirmed that more than 120 Iranian naval vessels and 44 mine layers have been destroyed since the campaign began. Iran's surface fleet, the fast attack boats, the mine layers, the swarm vessels that had been harassing commercial shipping for weeks, was being methodically eliminated. But the mines already in the water remained, and the underground missile infrastructure along the Iranian coastline, the shore-launched anti-ship weapons that could turn every tanker transit into a death run, was still largely intact. That required something different, something new, a weapon that had never been used in combat before. On March 17, 2026, B-1B Lancer bombers departed RAF Fairford in the United Kingdom. At 11 p.m. UTC, CENTCOM released a statement. Hours ago, U.S. forces successfully employed multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrator munitions on hardened Iranian missile sites along Iran's coastline near the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian anti-ship cruise missiles in these sites posed a direct risk to international shipping. The weapon was the GBU-72 Advanced 5K Penetrator. Its combat debut, a 5,000-pound precision-guided bunker buster, GPS navigation combined with a hardened steel casing and a delayed fuse that allows the weapon to fully penetrate its target before detonating inside. The internal explosion collapses underground structures from within, rather than simply cratering the surface above them. The GBU-72 fills a specific gap in the U.S. arsenal. More powerful than the GBU-28, more flexible than the enormous GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator used against Fordow in June 2025. It was designed specifically for the kind of hardened coastal infrastructure Iran had spent decades building along the strait's northern shore. The targets were the underground caves storing Iran's most dangerous anti-ship weapons. Coastal defense cruise missiles with ranges stretching from 120 kilometers to over 1,000. Weapons capable of striking ships as far away as the Gulf of Oman. All of them buried in reinforced mountain facilities specifically engineered to survive conventional airstrikes. The GBU-72 punched through concrete and rock, its delayed fuse counting down after full penetration, detonating inside. The shockwave collapsed the underground structures from within. Iran's decades-old coastal defense infrastructure, the missile caves that were supposed to be the last line of the day. Blockade, the hardened sites that no conventional weapon could crack, began collapsing in on themselves. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Dan Kane confirmed it simply at a Pentagon briefing. The weapons are designed to get through concrete and rock and function after penetrating those barriers. The same day Kane confirmed the GBU-72 strikes, he referenced a second weapon, one built in the 1970s that nobody expected to be relevant to 21st century naval warfare. The Warthog is now in the fight across the southern flank and is hunting and killing fast-attack watercraft in the Strait of Hormuz, the A-10 Thunderbolt II. The aircraft the Air Force had been trying to retire for years, now flying low and slow over the most strategically contested waterway on Earth, doing a job no other aircraft was better suited to perform. At the heart of the A-10 sits the GAU-8 Avenger, a 7-barrel, 30mm rotary cannon firing 3,900 rounds per minute. Its armor-piercing rounds can shred a fast attack boat in seconds. But the Warthog's real advantage in this environment is loiter time. It can circle a target area for hours, long enough to find, identify, and engage every fast attack craft attempting to operate in the strait, long enough to provide continuous air cover for mine-clearing operations below. While A-10s were in the air, no Iranian boat could surface to lay more mines. H-64E Apache attack helicopters operated in full coordination, Hellfire missiles and 30mm cannons taking out mobile coastal threats one by one. The combination was methodical and relentless. Every IRGC fast attack boat that surfaced became a target. The swarm tactics that had previously blocked significant strait traffic were being dismantled from above, contact by contact. Then came the development that changed the operational picture entirely. Israeli Defense Minister Katz and Prime Minister Netanyahu announced the elimination of Admiral Ali Reza Tangziri, commander of the IRGC Navy, the single individual most directly responsible for the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and the entire mine-laying campaign. Killed in an Israeli airstrike on Bandar Abbas. CENTCOM confirmed it. Admiral Cooper noted that Tangziri had harassed thousands of innocent merchant ships and attacked hundreds of vessels with kamikaze drones across 8 years of IRGC naval command. Defense Secretary Hegseth summarized the moment in one sentence at a cabinet meeting. Iran no longer has a navy or a naval commander. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Cooper was direct in his March 23rd briefing. Iran's missile stockpile reduced by 90%. Its fleet rendered immobile. Its coastal defense infrastructure largely destroyed. Before the war, 138 vessels passed through the strait every 24 hours. That number had dropped to 3 by mid-March. By the end of March, it had climbed back to around 15. Still far below normal, but the direction is unmistakable. 22 countries have pledged support for a coalition mine-clearing operation. The Royal Navy has reversed its earlier withdrawal decision and is now preparing to deploy autonomous mine-hunting drones, systems that detect and neutralize mines using acoustic and magnetic signature mimicry, causing controlled detonations without putting human lives at risk. The GBU-72 destroyed what conventional bombs couldn't reach. The A-10 cleared what missiles couldn't track. The mine layer fleet is gone. The IRGC naval commander is gone. A 40-year Iranian strategy built around closing this strait has been dismantled in under 4 weeks. But Iran still has mines in the water. It still has drone production capacity. And the clearance operation ahead, methodical, slow, and dangerous, will take weeks more before any captain can call a strait transit genuinely safe. The lock on the Strait of Hormuz hasn't been fully opened, but the locking mechanism has been shattered.